Hey, welcome back. Today we have this Foxbody with a 6-liter LS motor in it, VS Racing 76mm turbo, a pair of VS 44mm gates, millimeter, VS blow-off valve, VS intercooler, and truck manifolds with 2.5-inch piping leading to the turbo. It is T4, 80-pound injectors, Magna fuel regulator, and 750 pump. We have 2.5-inch piping from the turbo to the intercooler, 3-inch from the intercooler to the throttle body, and we will be tuning it using a Holley HP ECU. Starting off with just 93 octane, seeing how far we go with that. I do have a little bit of... What the hell is that? I do have a little bit of race gas that was brought with the car, so we may drain the 93 out, and I think it's Sunoco 116 he brought, so we might switch over to that. We'll just have to see how it goes. This does have a turbo 400 trans, and there's no way there's a worse building in the whole earth to be in than this one. So I just updated the software, or the firmware rather, from V4 to V5. So now we're going to get started on the 93 octane. First we'll start off getting our timing. God damn it. First we'll start off getting the fueling dialed in, and then we'll start playing with some ignition timing. I don't typically like to go very far on 93 octane. It's high risk, small reward, but this thing has gone 10.0, 10.1, somewhere around there, just on 93. So he wants to get this into the 9s, so we might turn it up just a little bit on 93. Also, I guess worth noting, this is the very first car I ever tuned with Holley, the very first car I ever installed Holley on. And going back and looking through the map, I was expecting to see a bunch of disastrous nonsense, but I was actually kind of surprised. I won't lie, I didn't read the manual. I just started zooming through it, and I've said in plenty of other videos how much I don't like the learn feature, and how I like to chop down all of the closed loop controls so you don't have, I think the defaults in most of the files are like 50% plus or minus. So I had the learn completely disabled, which I still do to this day, and I had the closed loop chopped down to I think 20%. So I did raise the rev limiter quite a bit. The 10.0, 10.1 runs, whatever they were, it was hitting the limiter at the end of the track. When this car was originally put together and tuned, the customer was just absolutely horrified of breaking it before he got a chance to actually take it out and enjoy it. So we were super duper safe with everything. Super duper. And now that he's been driving around having some fun with it for a couple of years and it's been nice and reliable, he's, I guess, a little more willing to accept that turning it up might break it. But obviously the goal is going to be to keep it alive as best we can, so let's get started.
This is boring.
Forgot to clear all the logs, so there's about 200,000 in here.
Hey, goddamn son of a bitch!
Battery's dead. This thing's been a little bit of a pain in the ass so far. That's a whole lot better. Oh, there it goes again. Alright, so here's our power and torque. You can see everything's pretty smooth. If you look over here, this closed loop is like a really dark blue. It's really hard to see. You can barely see it on here either. So if we right click on the graph, go to this customize, style, closed loop. Let's go with this yellow. And then you can also change the line type. Yeah, that's a whole lot easier to see. Yeah, now you can see that line way better. So that's always nice to kind of have in your back pocket. And you can do like the channels that you care about the most, make them a little easier to see. Alright, made some high-end fueling changes and some, like where I start rolling into the throttle changes. And it's doing just some goofy stuff, like as you're cruising around, air fuel will be rock solid, and then you just stay in the same spot for 15-20 seconds, and then it just kind of jumps, and I'm not sure what's going on with that, so I'll keep playing with that. So still got a little bit of work to do rolling into the throttle, but then once we get to about 5,000 RPM, we're like within 1%, 4% here, and then basically over here I was making all of my changes. Basically just stays at 1%, so that's good. I'll probably touch up some of the down low fueling down here on this run, and maybe we'll throw a little bit of timing in on this pass. Alright, before I make any timing changes, I'm gonna add some fuel and pull some timing from 7 and 8. Just make another run and see if there's any type of a difference. Holy crap, why is this so crazy? So I need to build some tables here, so that I'm gonna pull a fixed amount of timing and add a fixed amount of fuel just in boost, but whatever the hell's going on here is kind of wild, so I gotta get rid of all this. So here's somewhere else that you got to be careful. None of this stuff was enabled. Now that I've enabled it and I've made changes in 7 and 8, if we just go to 5, you can see it's got massive numbers in there. So always make sure you go through and double check everything and zero everything out. So I'm going to do this to both fuel and ignition, and like if we go to 8, you can see what's going on here. So basically just anything positive manifold pressure and above, I'll just add a few percent of fuel, and I'll probably pull a couple degrees of timing on the ignition side of it. Pulled 2 degrees of timing in 7 and 8, added 3% of fuel in 7 and 8. Change a little bit of the acceleration rate of change enrichment, and just going to try a run like this, depending on what this does. Maybe on the next run we'll try to play with some injector timing. God damn it. I hate it when you make changes and it makes you cycle the ignition. Picked up a couple horsepower, 567. Basically the objective there was to show you that you can do some cylinder to cylinder stuff, make things safer without giving up a bunch of power. So I'm not going to dig through the log, make sure everything did what I told it to do, and then we'll move around some injector timing a little bit. So you can see as it rolls into boost, starts making a little bit, then it pulls out a couple degrees, so do what we wanted there. One other thing that I did on this run, you can see I got a little bit more data down here. I actually set the dyno up to where to start the run once it builds 3 pounds of boost. So it's just not shocking the converter so hard. That works out pretty good. I'm not expecting this to do much. Hopefully it'll prove me wrong, but on the turbo cars, It seems you can move the injector angle around quite a bit and never really does a whole lot. The naturally aspirated stuff, every now and then you'll see a little bit of a gain, but it's pretty small. Please start. Exactly the same. About what I expected though. For the hell of it, I'll do one more, but I'll go the other direction with it. Yeah, those two runs are dead nuts, exactly right on top of each other. Exactly the same thing again. So I just made some pretty gigantic swings, and we're only a 50% duty cycle. So yeah, that's a huge waste of time. 1 degree more timing. .572. 1 more degree. I was hoping it would be done. That probably sounds weird. I don't like putting a lot of timing into pump gas cars, but clearly it likes it. One degree with the red, and then 1 more degree from there to there. So the alarm is completely turned off, and basically we're at 0% correction. If you look at the target air fuel, the actual air fuel, and then the closed loop compensation, so I can't really ask for a whole lot more than that, and we're still at about 8 pounds of boost. I got out of that one a little early. It picked up a little bit of horsepower, but not enough to keep going. So found basically the limit of where it wants to be. So now I'm going to pull some timing out of it, and I might throw a couple pounds of boost at it. Here's using the compare feature to set up the boost PID. The red dotted line, well, the blue is the target. The red dotted line is the default Holley values, and then this red line that's following closer is kind of where I'm at right now, and just using the trans brake to activate the timer, and looks to be pretty close now. All right, pulled 1.5 degrees of timing back out of it and threw 3 pounds on top of the gate, and I'm going to try this. So targeted 3 pounds, made 3 pounds, made 9 pounds of manifold pressure, and closed loop still within 1% or so. Let's look at the graph. And then the white here is with a little 1.5 pounds or so of boost. I would have thought 3 pounds would have did a little bit more, but we'll throw 2 more PSI at it and see what it does. Hopefully get another couple pounds out of this one and probably call it good. perfectly okay with that. It's like 100 horsepower gain from where we were at before with another 1500 RPM. So we're definitely going 9's on 93. So shit, it still didn't make as much boost as I was hoping it would make. You can see here boost is only 11 pounds. 11 and some change. Probably just gonna call that good. Don't want to press our luck. Shit, I got to go home. I might just talk it over with customer tonight, see if he even wants to fool with the race gas or wants to turn it up a little more here or call it good here. So just in case he doesn't want to go any further and I decide to edit this video in the morning, we're gonna call it good here. So I appreciate everybody watching, and we'll see you next time.